Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be looking at the patch notes for 9.20. So, as always, if you enjoy the content, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out a ton. Check out the rest of the content on the channel as well. We do lots of tier lists, patch notes, guides, coaching sessions, and other things on the channel as well. And I stream every night starting around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love to have you. We have a very friendly, chill community. I try to talk and interact with people as much as I possibly can. We have a good time. Okay. Let's go ahead and get in here. So this is kind of a weird patch. They have like a couple of big reworks, and then the rest of it is pretty skimpy. So they're not really like trying to shake up the top of the power charts anymore. They're just sort of changing some stuff. So this is kind of a weird patch. We'll see how it goes. I personally don't think it's going to be that consequential for the meta, but there are some interesting things in there. Okay, so Blitzcrank, armor lowered, armor growth lowered. I mean, that's not really why he's so strong right now. I mean, obviously the 100 grab range. And just the meta itself is people are kind of getting, like, people were just starting to shift towards, like, trying to play some more squishy supports. Like, Janna was creeping up in win rate for a little bit there. Soraka was creeping up, but Blitzcrank has kind of pulled him down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the 100 range does matter. Like, there are just some really weird spots where he can grab you from now. And so if you are a really squishy champion, then that's going to be a problem. And they also, like, changed around his ult so that he breaks shields. So specifically, that's really good against Janna. So they've changed around several things with him. I guess I can go ahead and pull him up here really quickly. And he is the highest win rate champ right now. Although he's going to be banned, especially in, like, silver, gold, and lower. He's going to be banned every game. But even at higher low brackets, he's going to be banned a lot. Because he has really high base damage in addition to this hook. And he scales with AP. And that's something that other hook champions just don't have. You know, like Nautilus, Thresh, Pyke. Like, their base damages are not going to be nearly this high. It's like 300 with a 100% AP ratio. So it's pretty strong. And then it's one of the longest hooks in the game now at 1150. That's pretty big. And the thing is, it's really fast. It doesn't have a delay, and it has a huge hitbox. So that's a huge difference from things like Pyke and Thresh. Thresh has a half a second delay on his. Pyke has, you have to charge it up for like half a second, I think, before you can get the full range on it. And he can go over walls and pull people all the way to him. So, like, Nautilus can't hook over walls, and then Pyke and Thresh kind of pull you, like, partially there. But Blitzcrank pulls you the entire 1150 out of range. So, he's got the best hook in the game. He always has. It's just, he doesn't have that much else. But now, it's so good that maybe it doesn't even matter. That he doesn't have that much else. So, he does get some extra movement speed for a little bit here, but he is slowed after it ends. But that does help you roam around and try to make plays a little bit faster, especially with mobility boots and this going. Like, he moves really, really quickly. And then Power Fist is just an extra knock up for 1 second after you hook him. What's up, Rory? Extra half a second just to give you some bonus damage. In team fights, it's alright too because, you know, it gives you a little bit of something you can do. You can walk around and every so often, every few seconds, once you get a lot of CDR, then you'll be able to knock somebody up again. Then the static field, now this is something that changed. It goes all the way down to 20 seconds. One mark is, okay. Basic attacks. Okay, so this gives him a lot of extra sort of consistent damage. So it can stack. So Blitzcrank's basic attacks apply a mark that stacks up to 3 times. Every 1 second, 1 mark is consumed to deal magic damage. So you can get this to where it goes all the way up to, you know, like 150 damage early on with a 0.9 ratio. Oh, never mind. Well, okay, so it does not add it up like that. So you can stack them up to 3 times. So every time you auto attack, it is going to do that extra damage, but it's just delayed a little bit over time. But still, this does add a lot of extra consistent damage to his kit versus that other little random static bolt that he used to throw off. And that the bolt was deactivated. This is when it's available. So most of the time, actually, never mind. Scratch all that. This doesn't matter most of the time because when you pull people in, you're going to ult. And I don't think this applies because it's only when it's available. So when he's not blowing people up. But still, the big thing here is it gets rid of all shields first. So that breaks through things like Guardian, breaks through Janna's shield. If someone's running Barrier for some reason, it breaks through that. So it does break through the shield Silo and just does huge, silences them and does huge burst damage. So he's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially against squishies out there right now. And champions like Alistar, Braum, Tom, these have kind of fallen out of favor a little bit in the meta. So there aren't that many champions that are just like extremely good against him. So I guess they're trying to make it with this change to where he can be poked out easier, but 40 armor is still a lot. They should have lowered his magic resist so that some of the enchanters, if he does miss his hook, can actually go up and punish him by hitting him with their spells, because there aren't many supports that do physical damage other than like auto attacks. There's Pyke. And they're going to be the people trading most of the time with Blitz. Like the ADC is not going to walk up and hit him that much. I mean, there might be some like Draven, you know, but I wish they would have like lowered his magic resist to make it more meaningful. Armor growth. So I think he's still going to have basically the same win rate. I think he'll still be like 53-ish type of win rate. Okay, the Garen change. Okay, base stats change slightly. Don't really matter. Perseverance. Now, one big one here is that in the jungle, he gets full healing the entire time he's in the jungle. So it's 7 seconds when he's hit by epic monsters, towers, or champions. So minions and monsters don't stop it. Monsters used to stop it. It used to only be minions. So I know that LS thought that there could be a Garen jungle because he's going to have a clean jungle. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible. Someone said they removed his on-hit interactions that he used to have. So, you know, like getting Blood Razor would not be that crazy. You'd probably still just go for like Cinderhulk, I would imagine. And I guess you could go with Warrior, but his ult doesn't have any AD scaling on it. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Decisive Strike seems like it's going to be a little bit faster. This, you get a shield instead of extra resistances. Now, I don't know how long this lasts. If it only lasts for 0.75 seconds, I mean, that's okay. It'll basically block like one damaging spell, but they did lower some of his overall resistances a bit. Judgment. Now, one thing also, it applies Conquer on each spin, so when you spin to win, you will get full stack of Conquer on somebody. So that kind of makes it a little weird where it almost makes you want to spin first and then Judgment after, but usually, or then Decisive Strike after, just so you get the true damage portion. But I think you still need your Q to close the gap, probably. But yeah, that's interesting. The spinning scaling off of 5 to 10 based on levels. You start at 7, so at earlier levels it's better, I believe. And then you get 1 per 20% attack speed from items and levels. So that does not include, like, Lethal Tempo doesn't work with this. You can't walk up in Decisive Strike, proc Lethal Tempo, and then spin them, you know, for an extra, like, 6 spins or something. But you know, you are going to get Trinity Force a lot of times. That's what Garen's been doing lately. And so I believe Trinity is 40% attack speed. So you're going to get 9 kind of in the mid game instead of 10. I don't know of any other attack speed items he would get typically. Yeah, none of the lethality items give attack speed. Ghostblade used to give attack speed like years ago, but I'm trying to think. I mean, he's not going to get any Zeal items. I mean, I guess you could maybe get Phantom Dancer. I believe the spin can crit. So I guess that's, like, possible, but I don't think so. Also, like, something like Predator, well, that's, like, movement speed, not attack speed. Yeah, it's just weird. Oh, you do get per level, though. Here, let me just pull him up here. You do get attack speed per level, and it says that factors in. Let's see. So Trinity, I believe, is 40% attack speed. These buffs, it's just like some of these changes are really weird to interpret. And they've done that with a lot of the most recent patches where it's like a bunch of nerfs, but also a bunch of buffs. And so, like, it's a lot harder to kind of do the calculus. See, his, the bonus AD is pretty bad. Like, the spins do give you a decent chunk. I mean, it's 40% of your total AD. So that does give you some, which is nice. But like your Demacian Justice has no AD on it, and Decisive Strike has a really low amount. We're looking at his attack speed per level. So like level 9, what does he have? About when you get Trinity. 24%. Okay, so that would put you at like 60% in the mid game, which would give you the full 10 spins. So once you get Trinity, then it's better. So you're getting more spins, like just with normal items you would buy. And there might be some weird items or builds that you could do to get more off of that. I guess if you got like Berserker Greaves or something, but I don't know. I think you're reaching for that. And then like max level, you would get 5 spins. So it would put you at 12 instead of 10. So pretty good. A little bit of extra spin there under most circumstances. You get the Conquer applied. And now you get true damage no matter what on people instead of magic damage. So this is pretty big. So like the overall damage is lower. So it's 75 lower at max level. At early ranks, it's 25 lower. But I'm pretty sure getting true damage, even though it's less magic like true damage is basically double damage. Like that's just the easiest way to think about it. So when it says like 107 or 150 damage, it really means 300 damage. That's not exactly how it works out all the time mathematically, but that's just a good rule of thumb to think about. So I think this is a buff for him. I don't think he'll be played in the jungle that much. I mean, it's possible. I don't know how his dueling is with other people. I mean, maybe specifically against other duelers early on. Like, I don't know if he could fight something like Lee Sin. He might be able to, though. I mean, he doesn't really have any CC, but he's got a lot of damage. I don't know. I mean, Mundo's a thing right now. Mundo's a little bit different than Garen, but we'll see. I think he will be stronger top lane, probably. I'm not sure how much. Maybe he gains, like, 2%. Depends on how much this Conquer... Because, like, the thing is, once Conquer procs, your Judgment's going to be on cooldown. And that's, like, most of your damage. And your R's already full true damage. So the Conquer's not going to matter on that. But the fact that just you get the extra AD and all that other stuff could matter. I mean, I guess it's only 9 seconds. So if you do get a lot of CDR... I don't know what else you would get that would give you another 20% CDR, though, that would... I mean, other than, like, Cleaver, but you're... I mean, maybe you still would... As stupid as it sounds, maybe you would go, like, Trinity Cleaver. You're wasting the Phage buff, but does it matter if you're getting, like, the 40% attack speed off of 2 items and you're getting extra armor shred? Of course, the armor shred doesn't matter with the true damage, but Conquer isn't full on true damage. I don't know. I mean, I know sometimes he goes Ghost Blade, too, depending on if he needs to split. I'm not a Garen expert. I don't know. I think it's a buff overall. I expect him to gain 2 or 3%. I think he's going to be pretty strong this patch. Ivern is ranged. I don't think this is going to matter. LS said this actually could be bad because now it's going to be a lot harder for him to jump over walls using his Q in the jungle, so it could mess with his pathing a little bit. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. Lissandra, extra AP ratios. Okay, that's good. It's encouraging her to go, like, burst Lissandra, which I think is a healthier style for her. I don't remember exactly what her win rate is. I haven't seen her a lot lately. Yeah, she's kind of on the low side. I saw, like, one good Lissandra within the last week or so, but okay. I mean, she typically doesn't get a lot of AP to begin with. Usually she'll get, like, Hourglass, definitely, and oftentimes just something like a Proto Belt. So, pretty low AP items, which is kind of utility, and her base damages aren't that high, so that's probably fair. Alright, so she might go up, maybe 1%. Pantheon Q now properly work. Okay, I don't know what that means. Comet Spear, losing 20 damage at max rank. That's okay. I don't think Pantheon's that good right now. I mean, I know his win rate's like okay. You know, he's like 51%. I just think he falls off so hard late game, just like he used to always do, and now his ult's on a much longer cooldown than it used to be, so I don't know. Fine. I really don't think they should have nerfed him, but that's fine. Okay. Kiana losing 20 damage early. LS did not think this was going to be that big of a deal. And she'll probably, I mean, she'll still be good, but that is going to pull back her power a little bit for early game all-in. So at pro play, you know, she might lose a 0.5% or something, but most of the time it's probably not going to matter that much. Okay, Shaco. So this is probably the most interesting one on the patch, and LS was really big on this, and he thought that support Shaco might become a thing. It is kind of funny. I like LS, he's great, but it's just like the stuff that he latches onto, like, oh my gosh, like some obscure build that's like off meta, and like all of a sudden he'll think it's good, and then he trash talks anything else that's like not strictly going to be used in pro play. He's just kind of like very selective with stuff he chooses to get hype about, which is endearing in a sense, I guess. He just randomly likes certain things. But okay, let's see what they're doing here, little Shaco. And I'm gonna break this down. I'm gonna try this out on stream in a normal game tonight because I've watched a couple of support Shaco videos and I can kind of see maybe how it could work, but I'm not entirely sold on it. But these are some good changes. So backstab, basic attacking enemy now deals additional damage, and 2-ship poison now deals additional damage when hitting people from behind. So your E does and your Q does. Deceive. Now at early levels, it's 2.5 seconds. So if you don't max this out, this is definitely a buff. And it's 12 seconds instead of 16 seconds at early levels. And if you're going support Shaco, you're going to be maxing this last. So this is actually a really big buff for Q if you do support Shaco. No longer reduces when exiting invisibility. Okay, I don't know how that worked. I guess used to get some kind of buff. I've never really played Shaco that much. Now you gain some amount of bonus damage, which is about what it used to be. Less scaling, but higher base, which once again is good if you're going AP. Then when striking from behind, it's guaranteed to critically strike for 130% damage. Okay, and the bonus also crits. So, not insane, but okay. You're not going to be using this a lot to open on people. I mean, sometimes if you're AP Shaco, but Jack in the Box. When it's triggered, boxes can now hit multiple enemies in AoE range. So this is really huge, especially like in a team fight. If you open up like and you get one of these boxes to go off in a fight, it can put out some serious damage on everybody in the fight, which is pretty nice. And another huge thing, and you might see like some solo lane Shaco, like top lane Shaco or something. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to be amazing or not, but that's really good wave clear. I mean, it doesn't, and that'll be really good actually for Shaco's jungle clear too, for clearing like birds and like even wolves or raptors or whatever. Like the AoE is really, really nice. So the AoE damage is such and such amount, so it's lower. When it hits a single target, it does more damage. But when it hits multiple targets, it does a little bit less. 2 seconds on non-champions, okay. 100 movement speed. Okay, so it's less on minions and monsters. They don't run away as fast. It's the same on champions. 2-shift poison now does magical damage. This is a big deal because spell pen now is much, much better with 2-shift poison. And then 70 to 170, okay. Has a little bit less scaling now. It has 0.6 instead of 0.8 AP or 0.75 AP. So higher base, which I'm okay with that. 15 higher base. I don't know if you have 100 AP. So basically, if you have 100 AP, then it's the same damage. But any more than that, it's going to be a little bit less. What's up, Roy? What are you doing? Now you do 50% increased damage on targets below 30% health, instead of up to 50 based on missing health. So that's more damage. So if someone's sitting right at like 25% damage, you're probably doing like, I don't know the exact math, but probably like 10% more damage than you did in the past. Maybe even more than that. Rory, hang on. Be careful. Okay. Can you be careful up there? Don't step on the crayons. So I think that's a buff for AP. Shaco probably a little bit. Box triggers immediately on hallucinate. So if your thing dies in the middle of a team fight, if you can like get that hallucinate in the middle of a fight and it dies, it's immediately going to fear everybody and start like putting out massive damage. And it does like decently high base damage. So they actually lowered the base damage by a pretty good chunk here. So it's 50 less at level 1, and it has less scaling, 0.7. So that's a lot of base damage gone. But the fact that you get an immediate fear means that your boxes are going to get off probably like 2 or 3 more shots than they would normally get. And the person's feared. So I guess they're always feared for 1 second. The things shoot twice per second, I believe. So you get 2 shots off on somebody at 0.1. So that gives you 0.2 ability power back, and 2 shots is 40 damage. So you're only losing like 10 damage and 0.1 ability power in exchange for getting the fear off faster and potentially hitting AoE people. Can you say hi, kitty? Okay, 1 marker. There you go. So yeah, I mean, I think overall this is pretty good. So if it works out, I'll talk about support Shaco a little bit more in my support tier list, but I'll hit it just real quick, the highlights. I know everyone's going to ask me about it, and I'm not going to be able to do my support tier list until tomorrow, most likely. Just don't have enough time today. Rory, okay, this is the last one, okay? Rory? Nothing? Okay, let me grab... Why am I blanking out? I like never click on Shaco. Oh, there he is. Okay. So the thing about Shaco, one thing that like really interests me about it, and I looked this up, I haven't tried it yet, but these boxes, I believe, come out instantly. They don't arm for 2 seconds, but I think you can insta-cast it and it will block hooks. I know it can block hooks when it's armed, but I think if you cast it even before it's armed, it'll block a hook. So that means that if Blitzcrank's coming up and he's trying to hook you... No, Rory, use those two. Use those two, Rory. Yeah, color with those. But you can basically block a hook from you, like Blitzcrank trying to hook you, and you can block one off of like an ally. If Blitz is trying to hook an ally, you can really quickly just throw a jack in the box in front of him and hook him. This is an old trick that worked with Malzahar support that was really strong too before they added the delay to Malzahar's minions coming out. So that was part of what made Malzahar really strong when they did his rework, and they nerfed a lot of his damage. He's very different than Shaco is, but that was one kind of interesting thing. Also, these boxes give really big vision. So they give the full sight ward vision of 700. This is different from things like Teemo Shrooms and like Ghost Poros, which only give like 450 vision or whatever. So this is like full-on wards. So you basically get extra wards, even if you don't trigger damage off of this, which is very, very nice. You know, and they last for up to 1 minute, a little bit longer if you have more AP. So I guess it could last up to, if you have like 100 AP early, like 65 seconds. But so that's really nice. It just has good utility, gives you vision, it can block hooks, causes pretty good fear, 1.5 second fear. Now it says that it's like stuns somebody for half a second when it wakes up the box, but that also they're feared immediately also. So it's not 2 seconds total, it's 1.5 seconds total because there's an overlap. But still, 1.5 second stun basically. It's fairly reasonably costed, and the extra damage, especially against a single target, I mean, if you have 100 AP, that's doing 115 damage a shot to a single target, and that's a lot. I mean, if they're feared, this thing fires once every half a second, that's 3 shots on somebody. You know, it's over 300 damage if they step on one of these. So that's quite a bit of damage. It's pretty nice. It's really hard to engage on him, too. If people are playing around these boxes and you try to go in, you're going to get feared. So he has really nice zone control if you're trying to control Barons. He's basically what I've been saying they should do with Teemo, sort of, right? Which is where he could be like really good at controlling zones and controlling vision. Potentially. He also has an escape, which is something Teemo doesn't have. That deceive is very, very good at getting away. So that allows you to play forward. It allows you to like invade their jungle and try to put up some boxes for extra vision. There's a lot of things you can do with him and potentially escape with deceive. So that right there is very nice. And then the backstab, of course, you get a little bit of extra damage with stuff. The 2-shiv poison. Now this was changed. They added an AP ratio to something too, I thought, or they changed it. I guess that used to have an AP ratio. I thought they added one onto something, but maybe they didn't.
For you after I just cleaned this bench, and you got more all over it.
I only opened 2 of them. I don't know where she got the rest of them.
There were 3 open. There are 4 open.
Well, she's evolving.
It's not time for coloring, it's time to go upstairs. Where are the other lids, Rory?
We don't know where the black one is.
What? Okay, I don't know where the black marker is, and I don't know where the blue lid or the green lid are.
They probably fell. I'll go hunt them down here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this pretty good harassment here. Look at this. Now it's short range. It's 625. But you're going to be able to control the bushes really easily with these boxes. No one's going to be able to walk in those bushes, most likely. So, you know, it goes up to 70 mana, and then you get 170 base. But don't forget, if they're below a certain threshold, you can get up to 255 with a 0.9 base. So, it's pretty decent. It's not insane, but it's all right. And then the hallucinate is really nice. You have so many different ways you can use this, and I'm not a Shaco main, so I'm sure there are lots of other ways that I'm not even thinking of. I think he is invulnerable. Vanish. Untargetable. So he's untargetable. So you can do some pretty neat stuff with this. I think, like, if, I'm not sure. I think if something like a Nautilus missile is coming for you and you use this, it might cancel it. I'm not entirely sure of all the uses of Vanish. He does still take damage, so if you get hit with an AoE, I don't think he's completely invulnerable. I didn't look that up entirely, but I don't think he's invulnerable, but he does become untargetable while that's going off. He might be invulnerable, I don't know. I think I've seen a Shaco dodge like a Karthus ult with this before when he used his hallucinate. But anyways, it's got a lot of tricks you can do with that. And then the hallucinate itself, the hallucination does, you know, physical damage, so you can knock out towers, dragons, clear waves, all of that really quickly. It's on a very low cooldown, so you can use it very often. Obviously, you can run out of bushes and trick people with it. You can activate it while you're invisible, and you still stay invisible, but the hallucinate does show up. So it can look like, you know, they'll see you blink, and then you come out like this shows up, and then they'll start firing on this maybe, and then you show up after that. So there's like a lot of tricks you can do with that. And now that the whenever it blows up, it fears people instantly. If you just like Q into the middle of a fight or whatever, and then just activate the hallucinate, someone's going to start targeting it and fighting it in a team fight, and so it's likely that it's going to be able to blow up. And I mean, if they don't want to fight it, then it does damage. Like, if you just go onto the back line on their AD carry and you just start hitting them with hallucinate and all of your stuff, and they don't hit it, you're probably going to kill them anyways. If they do hit it, then it's going to blow up and it's going to kill them. So it has a lot of interesting things, from pushing to objective control to, you know, faking people out to doing like pretty good AP damage. So it doesn't do as much burst as it used to, once again, but the boxes are more powerful. So I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of weird. Like, his itemization's sort of funky. What I've seen is people going like Frost Fang into the Hextech GLP. I'm not entirely sure why they do GLP instead of Proto Belt. I guess the slow's kind of nice, gives you a bit of extra range, a little bit of extra utility because you don't have that much CC. Like, you've got your boxes for fear, but I'm not really sure. The mana is really clutch. I mean, it does give you 20% cooldown reduction and mana, and you do need mana. So I guess they get that instead of Ludens because it's 400 cheaper, and when you're a support, 400 gold's a lot. So I suppose that's probably why they do it. But anyways, and then like they'll get like a Leandries or something after that. But that's usually what they rush is Frostfang, I believe, into that. I thought maybe they would do Sork boots, but the videos that I watched, a lot of them are doing Ionian boots. I guess because they just want to get their CDR maxed out as fast as possible so that they can put more boxes down and, you know, just do more stuff. But anyways, we'll see. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be like major widespread like pick or ban, but he certainly seems like he's going to be a little bit more viable than he was. Okay. Sona, all right, that can help you figure out like when you should do the Sona buffs. Yeah, LS said like this baby girl, which was odd because that's like a full-grown woman. I don't know. Hannah Wu wrote this, but it was by Shio Shouju. I have no clue, but yeah, it's kind of cringy, but that's fine, whatever. And there's massive buffs for Varus. I can't believe they buffed him this much. It's like insane. So get this, they're giving him 2 attack damage, 1 mana regen, literally half of a mana point. Like, it's not even whole integers anymore. With some of these troll buffs, it's like half a mana and 1 health. I mean, they're just trying to create clean numbers, I guess. But why do 61 instead of 60? I don't know. We're giving him some reliable power. Now he's going to have that extra half a mana when he needs it. Okay. Viktor. Now, I don't know about this one as much. I feel like not being able to pull people in is bad. Like, not getting the stun feels really bad, right? That seems rough. Okay, so they're offering him some exciting upgrades. Death Ray missiles are now the same width as the initial missile. I don't know what that means. That sounds important, but... Augment Magnetize. Yeah, 8% of his mana plus 0.15 to 30 to 115. That's bad, right? Because 8% of his mana, even if he only has 1,000 mana, is like 80, which is way more than 30. Or even like in the mid game, it's going to be 70. If you have 2,000 mana, which is more likely, I think some of his augments give a decent chunk of mana. That'd be 160 shield, which I think is more likely. So yeah, this seems like that's a nerf. That's a pretty big nerf. Chaos Storm will continue chasing after he dies. Okay. It can move over terrain. Alright, so it can go through like walls. Takes every 1 second, but it's basically the same amount of damage. Okay, so now it moves 25% faster if you upgrade it. And those seem like big nerfs. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. So, decreasing his mana dependency. They didn't lower his costs on anything. Are they saying that people felt like they had to spec into mana so that they would get a big shield? Like, every mage gets a mana item for the most part. Most of them do. I don't know. It seems really weird. More exciting augments for his W. How is this exciting? You can't stun anymore. Oh, hold on. Okay, so you can stun, but instead of dragging them to the center, it just slows them for 20 seconds. I think dragging them to the center is more powerful, right? It's a displacement. I don't know. Either way, I don't think it's going to matter that much. And then Locket of the Iron Solari. That's a pretty big buff. especially in the early game. So, like, at level 10, you would get 220 shield versus before you were getting a 180 shield. Let's be real, no one's going to rush this item, though, right? Like, at the fastest you would get this would be, like, second item. But still, it's just bad. Like, Locket has been nerfed too much. It doesn't have CDR. It doesn't have health. I mean, those two are, like, huge hits to this item. It has, like, some armor and, like, some, you know, like, a decent chunk of magic resist, which is good, but without health, without CDR, doesn't have any plus healing and shielding, which makes sense because it's intended for tanks. It's just weak. Like, I don't know. If you rush this item early, it still is not going to be, like, that great because you need CDR. Also doesn't have mana on it. So a lot of tanks, you know, would like at least one mana item early, like a Zeke's. Because they can go you know, in fights. CDR is really important on everybody pretty much. And, like, tank supports also want health. I don't know. It just seems really bad. I mean, this is better than it was for sure, but they need to just, like, lower. I would like to see them just go all in, just, like, remove the armor from it, or, like, a lot of the armor, and then just add in CDR and health. Just make it health, magic resist, CDR, and then this. And then it's, like, a very good, like, niche item. Like, okay, they have, like, double or triple AP, and they're going to try to team fight, I'm going to get Locket. Because right now, even if that's the case, a lot of times I'm still not going to get Locket because the stats are just pretty bad. But if they did that, if it was like remove 30 armor, which is about 900 gold or 600 gold worth of stats, add in 10% CDR, which is like maybe like 265, between 250 and 275 gold worth of CDR, and then your budget would still be, you know, somewhere around like 350 gold. So just add on like 150 health, something like that. That would probably be it. So 150 health, 10% CDR, no armor, 60 magic resist. Boom. Might be a lot more viable. But as it is, probably still not going to use it that much. Okay, I guess that's it. Bug fixes. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I wish they'd done a little bit more, but I guess they put all of it into trying to figure out the Shaco and Garen primarily, and then the other stuff they just kind of tweaked a little bit. I'd like to see them like change around the items a little bit. I think that that would help shake up the meta more than anything if they just you know, adjusted a few things or just removed Conquer from the game and brought back in Fervor. That would help out some. I don't know. I mean, the meta's like, it's okay right now overall. There's still a lot of assassins, and I still think the early game is too important and they're too strong, but there are some tanks coming back into the meta. There are like a lot of different kinds of picks that are pretty good. So the meta overall is pretty diverse right now. I still think there's a snowball problem overall, but I don't think that's a meta thing. I think that's just like a league thing right now with like the tower plates and scuttles and experience levels and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much. Be sure to stay tuned. Tomorrow I will have the support tier list out for you, and I'm also going to you know, I've got some more guides coming up with Nautilus and Pike, and I'm going to try to do a mid tier list and an 80 carry tier list on this patch as well, and I might do a couple more over the weekend. We'll see. But anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.